Well, here we go. Let's see what we can do. Invite a couple people here. Here we are. State of the Union is coming.
All right. Can I be heard? Here we go.
Hello, hello, hello.
Where is my stream deck?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor to present to you the President of the United States.
Figure out how to share this screen here. There we go. Already.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you. You can smile. It's okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Please. Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, good to see you guys up there. Members of Congress. By the way, Chief Justice, I may need a court order. She gets to go to the game tomorrow, next week. I have to stay home. Got to work something out here. Members of the Cabinet, leaders of our military, Chief Justice, Associate Justice, and retired Justice of the Supreme Court, and to you, my fellow Americans.
Open the chat here.
You know, I start tonight by congratulating the 118th Congress and the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know if I'm being heard. There we go. Oh, I try to let you join there. I see you, buddy.
Speaker, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you.
All right. Is everything being
I
heard?
want to congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first African-American minority leader in history, Hakeem Jeffries. He won in spite of the fact I campaigned for him. Congratulations to the longest serving leader in the history of the United States Senate, Mitch McConnell. Where are you, Mitch?
Somebody's messaging you somewhere.
And congratulations to Chuck Schumer, another, another term as Senate Minority Leader.
I'm here. I'm just trying to listen.
I think you. This time you have a slightly bigger majority, Mr. Leader, and you're in a majority leader. About that much bigger? Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I want to give special recognition to someone who I think is going to be considered the greatest speaker in the history of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, man. I've been watching this for 5 seconds and I'm already vomiting in my mouth a little bit.
How can you not? Like, I seriously have trouble looking at them without having.
America is a story of progress and resilience, of always moving forward, of never, ever giving up. It's a story unique among all nations. We're the only country that has emerged from every crisis we've ever entered stronger than we got into it. Look, folks, that's what we're doing again. 2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs. More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years because of you all.
Let's just assume everything that comes out of his mouth is going to be a lie.
2 years ago,
and then we'll work backwards from there.
2 years ago, COVID had shut down. Our businesses were closed. Our schools.
No, you
robbed
shut
so
it
much.
down.
And
Let's
today,
get real.
COVID no longer controls our lives. And 2 years ago, democracy faced its greatest threat to the Civil War. And today, though bruised,
What?
our democracy remains unbowed and unbroken.
Wait a minute. We're in a civil war?
Oh, we got a standing ovation already.
But civil war? Am I the only one that caught that?
We're writing the next chapter in the great American story, a story of progress and resilience. When world leaders ask me to define America, and they do, believe it or not, I say I can define it in one word, and I mean this: possibilities. We don't think anything is beyond our capacity. Everything is a possibility. You know, we're often told that Democrats and Republicans can't work together. But over the past 2 years, we've proved the cynics and naysayers wrong. Yes, we disagreed plenty. And yes, there were times when Democrats went alone. But time and again, Democrats and Republicans came together to defend a stronger and safer Europe. It came together to pass once in a generation infrastructure law, building bridges connecting our nation and our people. We came together to pass the most significant law ever, helping victims exposed to toxic burn pits. And in fact,
I wonder if people listen to Trump's speech the way I'm listening to Biden's speech. Like, it just sounds like flowery language that I'm just not paying attention to.
it's important.
Who the hell's that bald person?
He just doesn't strike
I
me as
signed over 300
leadership material, man.
bipartisan pieces of legislation since becoming president. From reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act, the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person you love. And to my Republican friends, if we could work together the last Congress, there's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well. I think
Camilla apparently is just starting the wave after every
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah.
You know why she's doing it? Is to give him a break so he can catch up with his thoughts and hopefully
it's a clear message.
not
Yeah.
fuck shit up.
Fighting for the sake of fighting, power for the sake of power, conflict for the sake of conflict gets us nowhere. That's always been my vision of our country, and I know it's many of yours. To restore the soul of this nation, to rebuild the backbone of America, America's middle class, and to unite the country. We've been sent here to finish the job, in my view. For decades, the middle class has been
Good luck
hollowed
with
out.
that. I might as well mute the
More than-
microphone.
Not no one administration, but for a long time. Too many good paying manufacturing jobs move overseas. Factories closed down. Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent became shadows of what they used to be. And along the way, something else we lost: pride, our sense of self-worth. I ran for president to fundamentally
What do you
change
want
things,
from me?
to make sure our economy works for everyone, so we can all feel
I'm
that
sorry,
pride.
every
Man, are you feeling the pride?
Build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out.
Yeah,
Not
the
from
bottom
the
of
top.
my foot.
Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well.
What poor? What
How
poor? See, look, there she is starting the wave again. What
Yeah.
poor has had a ladder up?
Oh, Bernie's looking terrible, dude.
I know
Bernie's like, I don't want to catch none of this BS.
My dad, but my dad used to say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. He really would say this. It's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about
Not
your
to you.
dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to
Not
look
to
at a kid in
you.
the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. Well, folks, so let's look at the results.
Folks.
We're not finished yet by any stretch of the imagination, but unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low.
Yeah, of people still looking for jobs.
Oh, don't even talk about how much taxes are taken out of people's checks. I know people that are supposed to be getting paid $26 an hour and take home $18 an hour.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Fastest growth in 40 years. And where is it written? Where is it written that America can't lead the world in manufacturing? And I don't know where that's written. For too many decades, we imported projects and exported jobs. Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Folks,
Look, she must be getting her lunges in. That's what she's doing.
inflation has been a global problem because the pandemic disrupted our supply
You know,
chains.
this is the most
and
I've seen
food
her work for the country at all.
brutal
Lunges.
Yeah, no
in
shit.
Ukraine disrupted
She's doing
energy
great.
supplies as well as food supplies, blocking all that grain in Ukraine.
All that
But we're
grain
better
in
positioned than any
Ukraine.
country on earth right now. We have more to do. But here at home, inflation is coming down. Here at home, gas prices
Where?
are down 50s from their peak. Food
From their
inflation
peak?
is coming
What?
down. Not fast
Yeah, the
enough, but
peak that
coming
you
down.
caused, dude.
Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months, while take-home pay has gone up. Additionally, for the last 2 years,
This is great.
a record
We live in
10
two different
million
worlds.
Americans applied to start new businesses. 10 million.
Stand up.
Yep,
Stand
there
up.
she
Come on,
goes.
come on, come on. Let's stand up.
Take a
Yeah.
break, Joe. Take a break, Joe. Don't go too fast.
Man, I need to work on my calves, man. This
Startups
is
and small businesses an act of hope. And Madam Vice President, I want to thank you
for standing up
for
so
leading
much.
that effort to small businesses have access to capital and the historic laws we enacted that are going to just come into
Did
being.
you say Madam President?
Standing here last year
Reenacted and
I
come
shared
into
with you a
being. That
story
should be concerning.
of American genius and possibilities, semiconductors,
Huh.
small computer chips the size of a fingerprint that power everything from cell phones to automobiles and so much more. These chips were invented in America. Let's get that straight. They were invented in America.
And bought by China.
We used to make 40% of the world's chips. In the last several decades, we lost our edge. We're down to only producing 10%. We all saw what happened during the pandemic when chip factories shut down overseas. Today's automobiles need 3,000 chips, each of those automobiles.
Ah,
But American automobiles couldn't make enough cars because there weren't enough chips. Car prices went up. People
do you
got
know
laid off.
Ford is owned by
Total
China?
everything from refrigerators to cell
No.
phones. We can never let that happen again. That's why we came together to pass the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act.
No, I gotta
Science
read
Act.
that.
You know, I wonder how many people are like, I'm only standing up because everybody else is standing up.
All of them.
We look like idiots if we don't. Oh, she's standing up again.
I know I've been criticized for saying this, but I'm not changing my view.
Oh,
We're going to make sure the supply chain for America begins in America. The supply chain begins in America.
wait, what the hell does that even mean?
We've
Not
already-
to mention, who has complained about that? Matter of fact,
There's
most
literally
Americans.
no such thing as the beginning of a supply chain.
800 new manufacturing jobs without this law, before the law kicks in. With this new law, we're going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs across the country. And I mean all across the country, throughout not just the coast, but through the middle of the country as well. That's going to come from companies that have announced more than $300 billion in investment in American manufacturing over the next few years.
$300
Outside of
billion.
Columbus, Ohio, Intel is building semiconductor factories on
What
1,000
company?
acres. Literally a field of dreams. It's going to create 10,000 jobs, that one
Yeah,
investment.
your entire speech is a field of
7,000
dreams.
construction jobs. 3,000 jobs in those factories once they're finished. They $130,000 a year, and many do not require a college degree.
Only 30,000? You can't live off 30,000 nowadays.
Because we work together, these jobs where people don't have to leave home to search for
I mean-
opportunity. It's just getting started.
If you
Think about
figure
the
in
new
supplemental
homes, the small
food stamps and
businesses.
stuff, you maybe could. Did I lose my signal? Are you still with me?
I'm with you. Apparently, if Joe must be saying something stupid, they stopped the feed.
No, that's him loading. That's not the. That's
What
not
about the
C-SPAN.
new glitch in the Matrix?
Yeah, that's not C-SPAN trying to load. That's Biden trying to load up. Look at him go. Let me try refreshing the page, see what happens.
You all know
Oh, we're standing up again. Son of a bitch.
the world in infrastructure.
Man, I almost missed the
We've sunk
stand up.
to 13th in the world. The United States of America.
Oh, look at him.
13th
He's so
in
angry.
the world in infrastructure.
Who's he
modern
pointing at?
infrastructure. But now we're coming back because we came together and passed the bipartisan infrastructure law, the largest investment in infrastructure
Maybe it is.
President
you.
Nixon in the state highway system.
There she goes again.
Oh, Lord. You know, next time I need a good workout, I'm just going to watch the State of the Union.
Or all you gotta do is watch
That's
all
a hell
she
of a
does for the
place.
country. Stand up, sit down. Stand up, sit down.
She missed her
Including
calling as a
major
personal
airports
trainer.
From Boston to Atlanta to Portland. Projects that are going to put thousands of people to work rebuilding our highways, our bridges, our railroads, our tunnels, ports, airports, clean water, high-speed internet, all across America. Urban, rural, tribal. And folks, we're just getting started. We're just getting started.
That doesn't give me good feels.
And I mean
That
this
sounds
sincerely.
expensive.
I want to thank my
Sounds like a bunch
Republican
of bullshit.
supporters of the law.
Yeah, I mean,
And
we're
my
already how many
Republican friends
trillions
who
of
voted
dollars in
against it
debt?
as well.
We're going to spend some more, guys.
But
Don't
I'm still,
worry.
I still get
Well,
asked
yeah.
to fund projects in those districts as well, but don't worry.
Don't worry,
I
guys.
promised I'd be a president for all Americans. We'll fund these projects, and I'll see you at the groundbreaking.
Liar.
Oh, Lord.
Such a fucking liar, dude.
That's a groaner. Wait, I wonder how
This
far
law-
into this are we already?
This law will
16
further
minutes?
the
20 minutes?
America. Projects like Brent Spence Bridge in Kentucky over the Ohio
We're
River,
starting to flub words now.
built 60 years ago.
Losing steam
Badly
already.
needed repairs. One of the nation's most congested freight routes, carrying $2 billion worth of freight every single day across the Ohio River. And folks, I've been talking about fixing it for decades,
Folks.
but we're really finally going to get it done. I went there last month with Democrats and Republicans, and from both states, to deliver a commitment of $1.6 billion for this project.
Oh, I thought she was gonna do it. I was waiting for it.
No,
I met
I
a
know.
young woman named Sarah,
She got tired.
who's here tonight. I don't know where Sarah is. Is she up in the box? I don't know. Sarah, how are you?
Hi, Sarah.
Well, Sarah, for 30 years, I learned, she told me she'd been a proud member of the Iron Workers Local 44, known as the Cowboys in the Sky. The folks who built Cincinnati's skyline. Sarah said she can't wait to be 10 stories above the Ohio River building that new bridge. God bless her. That's pride. And that's what we're also building. We're building back pride. Look, we're also replacing poisonous lead pipes that go into 10 million homes in America. 400,000 school and child care centers.
Why is the federal
So
government
every child
handling
in
the
America-
pipes?
Every child in America can drink
Because
the
we're
water
just indentured servants.
from the damage to their brain. Look,
Last I checked, that was like
we're making sure.
the responsibility of local municipalities to handle.
We're making sure.
Mm. Well, when they're pocketing the money just as fast as the federal government officials are, what are you going to do? There's no money left for the community.
No parent should have to drive.
You know, because that's one thing that always bugged me about public school. Just like here in North Carolina, the one way they got the lottery in North Carolina was saying that proceeds will go to your local schools. Guess what? They don't. They go to the fucking colleges that already make millions of dollars.
We're going to buy America. Folks,
Hey, come back. We're standing again. We're standing, guys.
I'm standing too. I'm just standing out of shot.
No, you need to stand where people can see you.
Why? I ain't standing
That's
for
how
them.
people. That's how people know you're a
1933.
virtuous person.
but for too long, not anymore. Tonight,
Well, I
I'm
missed that boat.
all construction materials used in federal infrastructure projects to be made in America.
Is he
Made in
just
America.
running on Trump's platform now? Is that what's going on right now?
I mean it.
Dude. Does he have any kind of original thought?
Why are none of the Republicans standing up for Made in America?
Drywall, fiber optic cable. And on my watch, American roads, bridges, American highways are going to be made with American products as well.
Boy, slow your roll,
Folks,
buddy. You're
My
flubbing words,
economic
man.
plan is about investing in
Keep
places
them
and people
dentures in.
that have been forgotten. So many of you listening to me tonight,
What?
I
Some
know
of
you
you.
feel it. So many of you felt like you've just simply been forgotten. Made the economic upheaval of the
The
past 4
epiamic-
decades have been left behind and treated
You
like
know,
they're invisible. Maybe that's
all
you.
he's showing is how little he
went
does
away.
not
You
believe
remember
what
them,
he's
don't you?
saying at all.
The folks at home remember them. You wonder whether the path even exists anymore for your children to get ahead without having to move away. Well, that's why I get that. That's why we're building an economy where no one's left behind. Jobs are coming back. Pride is coming back because choices we made in the last several years. You know, this is, in my view, a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America and make a real difference in your lives at home. For example, too many of you lay in bed at night like my dad did,
Well, I don't lay in bed
staring
like
at
your
the
dad.
ceiling, wondering what in
Definitely
goddamn's
not with your
happened
dad.
if your spouse gets cancer or your child gets deadly ill or something happens to you. What are you going to get money to pay for those medical bills? Or are you going to have to sell the house or try to get a second mortgage on it? I get it. I get it.
No, you don't.
The Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law, we're taking on powerful interest to bring healthcare costs down so
No,
you
you're
can
not.
sleep better at night.
They
with
pay
more
you.
security.
Let me guess.
You know, we pay more for
This
prescription
was-
drugs than
what is
any
it the news people
nation in
say?
the world. Let me say it again.
They're
We pay
sponsored
more
by
for
Pfizer.
prescription drugs than any major nation on earth.
Let me say it again.
For example,
End quote.
1 in 10
Repeat
Americans
the
has
line.
diabetes. Many of you in this chamber do, and in the audience. But every day, millions need insulin to control their diabetes so they can literally stay alive. Insulin's been around for over 100 years. The guy who invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be available for everyone. It cost the drug companies roughly $10 a vial to make that insulin. Packaging and all, you may get up to $13. But Big Pharma has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars, $400 to $500 a month,
Try
making
1,000.
record profits.
Mm.
Not anymore.
Nothing to do with regulatory capture
Not anymore.
and the fact that they use the legal system and the laws to make that a
Benefit them.
possibility. Let's open this stuff up for some competition and maybe we can get the prices down instead of you strong arming companies. I can't believe you guys would raise your prices so high, even though we set up the
Supposed to
system
be
in
a-
favor to do so.
Oh yeah, and we're not supposed to have monopolies. You know, there's not supposed to, we're not supposed to have corporations owning everything.
Well, no monopolies except for the U.S. government.
Until January 1 of this year. We capped the cost of insulin at
We're on a
$35
political live
a month
stream.
for seniors.
35. That's a ripoff. I can't
Oh,
afford
look, she's starting the wave again.
$10 on a $30,000 a year income. What's wrong with you, Mr. Biden?
I'm sure you're getting the same calls I'm getting.
That's your vice president.
There are millions
And
of
every
other
time Joe needs a break, so he stops stumbling over his words, she stands up and gets everybody else to stand up for a standing
Doesn't he
ovation
look
over
like a-
nothing because he's
a
not
hostage?
saying anything.
Doesn't
of
Bernie look like a
substance.
hostage?
Let's finish the
He probably
job.
feels like one.
Cost of insulin for everybody at $35.
No, I'm not interested in the way I look.
Let's
I'm
stand up
not
again.
interested in people that are interested in the way I look.
Well, I'm interested in that. And your lighting,
My daughter's over here trying to give me lighting tips
We're still going to do very well, I promise
because
you.
I'm on video.
I
because your
promise you.
lighting,
We'll do very
it's
well.
sad. The quality of your camera
This
is
law
so
also
bad.
Yeah,
caps
yeah, I feel very sad for you.
Until 2025. Costs, out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on
Ridiculous.
Medicare at a maximum of $2,000 a year. You don't have to pay more than $2,000 a year, no matter how much your drug costs are. Because you know why?
Why?
You all know it.
Why?
Many of you,
Tell me.
like many in my family, have cancer.
What's
You know the drugs can range from $10, $11, $14, $15,000 for the cancer drugs. If drug prices rise
Be
faster
louder
than
on the
inflation,
speech.
drug companies
See
are
what
going
I
to have
can
to
do
pay
about
Medicare back the difference. We're finally giving Medicare the power to negotiate drug prices.
Medicare already has the power to negotiate.
Bringing down prescription drug costs doesn't just save seniors money, it cuts the federal deficit by billions of dollars, by hundreds of billions of dollars. Because these prescription drugs are drugs
I know what you
purchased by Medicare.
You know, his audience doesn't even look like they believe him, and they're
And guess
supposed to back him.
Instead of paying $400 or $500 a month, you're paying $15.
Get out
That's
my
a
house.
lot of savings for the federal
Get
government.
out of my house.
And by the way, why would we want that? Now, some members here are threatening, and I know it's not an official party position, so I'm not going to exaggerate,
How's that on the speech volume?
but
There?
threatening to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. As my coach, that's okay. That's fair. As my football coach used to say, lots of luck in your senior year. Make no mistake. If you try anything to raise the cost of producing jobs, I will veto it.
All right, we'll try it there then.
Look, I'm pleased to say that more Americans have health insurance now than ever in history.
The hell did he just say?
16 million people are enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. And thanks to the law I signed last year, saving millions are saving $800 a year on their premiums. And by the way, that law was written and the benefit expires in 2025. So my plea to some of you, at least in this audience, let's finish the job and make these savings permanent.
Wait,
Expand
why would you make
coverage
it
of Medicaid.
expire in 2025? Other than, oh, you got to vote me back in if you want to make it permanent, because we definitely couldn't have made it permanent now.
Look.
That's manipulative bullcrap, man.
The Inflation Reduction Act is also the most significant investment ever in climate change. Ever.
Dang, what did she just
Lower
stand in a second
utility
ago?
bills.
I swear I need a fly swatter for her, so I'm just swat her in the forehead every time she starts standing up.
Devastating
Sit back
aftermath
down.
of record floods, droughts,
Not your
storms,
turn.
wildfires, from Arizona to Mexico to all the way up to the Canadian border. More timber has been burned, that I've observed from helicopters, than the entire state of Missouri. And we don't have global warming? Not a problem. In addition to emergency recovery, from Puerto Rico to Florida to Idaho, we're rebuilding for the long term.
Let's
New
talk
electric
about all
grids.
the woods and forests that
Make the
we're cutting down for storage units. Let's talk about that.
Water system will stand the next big flood. Clean energy to cut pollution and create jobs in communities often left behind. We're going to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations installed across the country by tens of thousands of IBW workers.
The State of the Union is supposed to be kind of going over
We're
what
helping families save
where
more
we're
than
at right now, not where
$1,000 a
we're
year
heading.
with tax
He
credits.
has not said anything of substance this
Vehicles and
entire
efficient
speech.
appliances, energy efficient appliances. Historic conservation efforts to be responsible stewards of our land. Let's face reality. The climate crisis doesn't care if you're in a red or blue state. It's an existential threat. We have an obligation, not to ourselves, but to our children and grandchildren, to confront it. I'm proud of how America at last is stepping up to the challenge. We're still going to need oil and gas for a while. But guess what? No, we do. But there's so much more to do. We got to finish the job. And we pay for these investments in our future by finally making the wealthiest and biggest corporations begin to pay their fair share.
Liar.
Just begin. Look, I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist. Yeah.
wow.
I think a lot of you at home,
He's a
a lot of you at
capitalist.
home agree
My
with me and
ass.
many people
Ah.
that you know.
If he's a capitalist, I'm a
The
good
tax
God-fearing
system is not
Christian.
fair.
Well, I guess in one aspect of the way, yeah, he is. He capitalizes on anything he can capitalize on to make more money for his pocket.
55 of the largest corporations in America, the Fortune 500, made $40 billion in profits and paid zero in federal taxes.
See, I'm with Charlene. He hasn't said anything productive.
I'm going to put forward
Simply
a
not
strong
fair.
argument for
But now,
why we
because of
shouldn't
the
have
law I
capitalism.
signed,
Just play this audio
billion-dollar
for me.
companies have to pay a minimum 15%. God love them. 15%. That's less than a nurse pays. And I need to be crystal clear. I said at the very beginning, under my plans, as long as I'm president, nobody earning less than
As long as he's,
$400,000.
oh, it sounded like you said prejudice.
Nobody, not one penny.
Standing again. Son of a-
President.
There's more to do. We have to reward work, not just wealth. Pass my proposal for the billionaire minimum tax.
My damn calves
You know,
are burning already, you know?
There's 1,000 billionaires in America. It's up from about 600 in the beginning of time. But no billionaire should be paying a lower tax rate than a school teacher or firefighter.
Why? Why?
I mean,
Why should a billionaire not pay the same tax rate as everybody? It should be a percentage, a fair percentage.
I mean, look,
See what I'm saying though? When they do pan to the crowd, they don't.
They already pay more because
Think
the
about
school
that, but think
teacher,
about
they
it.
don't make enough to even pay taxes.
about
They're
it.
probably getting money back.
have you noticed Big Oil just reported its profits, record profits? Last year they made $200 billion.
Yeah,
this-
let's talk about where the medical companies made record
Yeah.
profits.
Hey, now do
Why?
Pfizer.
They invested
Yeah.
$2 billion in
Imagine
profit to
Pfizer.
increase domestic production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells and all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them?
Yeah, no kidding.
I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade. And that's going to exceed and beyond that. We're going
At
to
least
need it.
another decade.
Production.
Jesus Christ.
If they had in fact invested in the production to keep gas prices down, instead they used the record profits to buy back their own stock, rewarding the CEOs and shareholders. Corporations ought to do the right
Preparing
thing.
for tough economic
That's
times.
why I propose we quadruple the tax on corporate stock buybacks and encourage long-term investments.
I'm also
They'll
paying
still
down my
make
debts,
considerable profit.
you know, in preparation for a hard time. I'm not spending money on new
Finish the job and
investments.
close the loophole to allow very wealthy to avoid paying their taxes. Instead of cutting the number of audits for wealthy taxpayers, I just signed a law to reduce the deficit by $114 billion by cracking down on wealthy tax cheats. That's being fiscally
It reminds me of that
responsible.
little kid. Have you ever drink? Did you see that?
In the last
I don't
2
know.
years,
What was it? What was that little dream
my
kid?
administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion, the largest deficit reduction in American history. Under the previous administration, the American deficit went up 4
You
years in
had
a row
to.
because those record
Have you ever
deficits,
had a
no
dream
president added more to the national debt
that you
in any
you
4
had,
years of my predecessor.
you could
Nearly
you do-
25% of the entire national debt that took over 200 years to accumulate was added by just one administration alone, the last one. They're the facts. Check it out.
Oh, those are the facts. Huh? Sounds like
Yeah, there's the dissension too. Buddy.
Congress responded to that debt. They did the right thing. They lifted the debt ceiling 3 times without preconditions or crisis. They paid American bills.
Look at the guy behind him shaking his
talk
head.
about this lifting the debt ceiling like it's a good
So
thing.
tonight I'm asking the Congress to follow
As
suit.
well, you saw the guy sitting behind him shake his head like you're an idiot.
The
McCarthy?
United States of America will never, ever be questioned. So some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some
Is that
Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority.
Look, see?
Wow.
Anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the
Bitch,
proposal.
you ain't. Sorry, you ain't told the truth some gate, but I'm gonna call you for truthful information.
I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion.
Conversion
You know, it means
conversation.
if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being
He's really got
proposed.
control of this.
Get him.
I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some.
He's
of
gonna
them.
sit here and argue with him. Why would you sit there and argue with him? You idiot!
Folks,
You're just gonna get him even
the
more riled.
idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks,
gaslighting them, if nothing else. Badgering's another good word.
Is he badgering them? Says
So,
Charlotte.
folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be stopped. All right. I'm ready. We got unanimity.
Did you say unanimity?
I have no idea what that word was.
Medicare or Lifeline for millions of
What was
seniors.
unanimity?
Americans have to pay into them from the very first paycheck they started. So tonight, let's all agree, and we apparently are. Let's stand up for seniors.
Wait, did you say the seniors need to stand up or stand up
He
for the
said, let's
seniors?
stand up for seniors. But there's a catch-22. See,
Well,
this
there's a
is
bunch of
why
seniors standing up, is what I'm
this
asking.
is why reading comments can be important. Most of the comments that I see of the elderly talking about the pay raise they got recently, that
Yeah.
pay raise came with a great deduction to things like EBT. So they were only living off of $100 a month for one person. That's been cut to like $40 a month because they got a raise in their Social Security. Oh, you did a great job there, didn't you?
My fiscal plan. I asked my Republican friends to lay down their plan as well.
He has Republican
I
friends.
really mean it. Let's sit down together and discuss our mutual plans together. Let's do that.
Didn't he just say a minute ago that basically anything the Republicans want to put on his desk, he's going to veto it? But let's come together, guys.
Well,
Let's
no,
come
he's
together.
only going to veto it if it doesn't
You're
come
gonna
to
cut
his
another
terms, but he won't be held hostage to come to their
Cut a
terms.
single bit of Medicare or Social Security. In fact, we're going to extend the Medicare Trust Fund at least 2 decades, because that's going to be the next argument. How do we keep it solvent, right? Well, we'll not raise tax on anyone making under 400 grand, but we'll pay for it the way we talked about tonight, by making sure that the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share. Look.
That's ridiculous.
Here's the deal.
Charlene says, I can tell you the raise my grandparent
You're
got
just
ended up
taking
being
advantage of the
$23
tax
after all the extra
Exactly.
deductions.
It is a joke.
Here's my message to all
It
of
is
you
not
out there.
all the
I mean, have your
sparkle, glittery things
We're
they
already
keep
providing
claiming it
Medicare
is.
Yeah, we saved 16 cents on a hot dog a couple years
Stop
ago,
the
so
$1 billion
stop whining.
surprise bills per month so far. We're protecting seniors' life savings by cracking down on nursing homes that commit fraud, endanger patient safety, prescribe drugs that are not needed. Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars
Millions of
because
Americans.
they can finally get a hearing aid over the counter without a prescription. Look, capitalism without competition is not capitalism. It's extortion.
No
It's
shit.
exploitation. Last year, I cracked down with the help of many of you.
So you shouldn't have
on
a problem
foreign
with me
shipping
starting
companies
a
that were making you
competing
pay higher
competing
prices
government.
for every good coming into the country. I signed a bipartisan bill that cut shipping costs by 90%, helping American farmers, businessmen, and consumers. Let's finish the job. Pass the bipartisan legislation to strengthen antitrust enforcement and prevent big online platforms from giving their own products an unfair advantage.
Oh shit! Standing again. We're standing again. Come on. What are we standing for again?
My administration is also taking on junk fees. Those
Garble?
hidden charges too many companies use to make you pay more. For example, we're making airlines show you the full ticket price up front, refund your money if your flight is canceled or delayed. We reduced exorbitant bank overdrafts by saving consumers more than $1 billion a year.
Exorbitant.
We're cutting credit card late fees by 75% from $30 to $8. Look,
What are we standing again for?
junk fees
If he does say
may
something
not
powerful,
matter
I'm going to
very well,
totally
but they
miss it.
matter to most other folks in homes like the one I grew up in, like many of you did. They add up to hundreds of dollars a month.
I think they depend on that.
to pay your bills or afford that family trip. I know how unfair it feels when a company overcharges you and gets away with it. Not anymore.
Right? We don't know.
Bill to stop it all. It's called the Junk Fee Prevention Act. We're going to ban surprise resort fees that hotels charge on your bill. Those fees can cost up to $90 a night at hotels that aren't even resorts. The idea that cable, internet, and cell phone companies can charge you $200 or more if you decide to switch to another provider. Give me a break. We can stop service fees on tickets to concerts and sporting events and make companies disclose all the fees up front. And we'll prohibit airlines from charging $50 round trip for family just to be able to sit together. Baggage fees are bad enough.
Right? No lie, Charlene. No lie.
Americans are tired of being. We're tired of being played for suckers.
We're tired of you.
So pass.
Sounds like classic projection if I've ever heard it. Oh,
Prevention Act. So
I forgot. I'm
stop
sorry.
ripping us off.
My bad.
For too long, workers have been getting stiffed.
You know, I think I need to go back and count how many times she's made everybody stand up. She should owe some people some money at the end of this. Some people have heart
I've
conditions.
known this, but I didn't until 2 years ago. 30 million workers.
I'm afraid I'm going to owe her for her exercise class.
The job they take. 30 million. So a cashier at a burger place can't walk across town and take the same job at another burger place and make a few bucks more. It just changed. But they just changed it because we exposed it.
Wait, what?
That was part of the deal, guys. Look it up.
Look it up.
But not
What,
anymore.
we're going to Google it?
We're banning those agreements.
Lord
so
knows we
companies
get
have to
good
compete
results
for
there.
workers and pay them what they're worth.
When was the last time he actually went to a fast food restaurant? Don't get it messed up. I think they should be paid more, maybe give them more of an incentive. But the fact of the matter is most people that work in fast food restaurant with a very, very select,
That's the Pro Act.
exceptional few don't give two flying hells how they're throwing your burger together.
No, not at all. You know, it'd be nice if you would actually
Let's
address some
guarantee
of the
all workers have a
controversial
living
stuff
wage.
too. Like
Let's make sure
certainly his
working
speechwriters
parents
could
can
have put
afford to raise a
something in there
family
about
with sick
that.
days, paid family medical leave, affordable child care. That's going to enable millions of more people to go and stay at work, and let's restore the full child tax credit, which gave tens of millions of parents some breathing room and cut child poverty in half to the lowest level in history. And by the way, when we do all these things,
By the way,
we increase productivity, we increase economic growth.
this
So let's
is
finish the
cringe
job
as fact.
and get more families access to
Agreed.
affordable quality housing. Let's get seniors who
Cringe
want to stay
is
in
the
their
word.
homes the care they need to do so. Let's give more breathing room to millions of family caregivers
Minions of
looking
families.
after their loved ones. Pass my plan.
Dentures keep
We
slipping.
get seniors and people with disabilities the home care and services they need. And support the workers who are doing God's work.
Oh, if he says minions one
These
more time,
plans
I
are
got
affordable
another
before we can
TikTok
afford
video
to
ready
do
to
them.
go.
Restoring the dignity of work means making education an affordable ticket to the middle class. You know, when we made public education, 12 years of it universal in the last century, we made the best educated, best paid, we became the best educated. The rest of the world's
He
caught up.
couldn't even get the lie out.
Jill, my wife, who teaches full time, has an expression. I hope I get it right, kid. Any nation that out educates us is going to outcompete us. Any nation out educates is going to outcompete us. Folks, we all know 12 years of education
No
is
idea
not
what's-
enough to win the economic competition of 21st century.
Dude, if you can't even educate our children in 12
We
years,
want to have the best educated workforce. Let's finish the job.
you know, here's an idea. Let's put more money into this thing that's already
Preschool
failing.
For 3 and 4 years old. Studies show
Oh,
that
Jesus
children who go to
Christ.
preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school and go on to earn a 2 or 4 year degree. No matter their
no, we tried that
background they came
pre-K
from.
bullshit. It
Let's
did not
give public
work.
School teachers a raise.
I think it was after like 4 or 5 years, any benefit shown by the pre-K program was actually just completely, everything balanced out. It was exactly the same as it was.
We're making
So
progress
no improvement.
by reducing student debt, increasing Pell Grants for working and middle class families. Let's finish the job and connect students to career opportunities starting in high school. Provide access to 2 years of community college. The best career training in America, in addition to being a pathway to a 4-year degree. Let's offer every American a path to a good career, whether they go to college or not. And folks, Folks, in the midst of the COVID crisis,
folks.
when schools were closed and we were shutting down everything,
Yeah,
let's
y'all
recognize
shutting
how
down
far we
everything.
came in the fight against the pandemic itself. While the virus is not gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of medicine, we've broken the COVID grip on us. COVID deaths are down by 90%.
'Cause
We've
people quit
saved
getting
millions of
shot.
lives and opened up our country. We opened our country back up, and soon we'll end the public health emergency. But
It's already ended.
But
that's called a public health emergency. But we'll remember the toll and pain that's never going to go away. More than 1 million Americans lost their lives to COVID. 1 million. Families grieving, children orphaned, empty chairs at the dining room table constantly reminding you. She used to sit there,
didn't we try this line before?
remembering them.
The empty chair at the kitchen
We
table
remain
during
vigilant.
his campaign.
We still need to monitor dozens
Only
of variants and support new
79%?
vaccines and treatments. So Congress needs to fund these efforts and keep America safe. And as we emerge from this crisis,
Wow.
My stream is
We're
showing
also
I
gotta
have
double
0
down
people
on
watching right
prosecuting
now. Can you
criminals
guys say hey
who
in the chat
stole
if you're
relief money
watching? Because I
meant
know
to
there's
keep
people
workers
watching.
and small businesses.
Yeah, Charlene's here, Bill R.
Yeah.
Um,
You guys can share this stream out. Invite your friends. As we mercilessly make fun of
Before I came to office, you
our so-called
remember,
commander-in-chief.
during that campaign, the big issue was about inspector generals who would protect taxpayers' dollars and were
So we're going
sidelined.
to address the big issue of
They were
inspector
fired.
generals, but we're
Many
probably
people
not
said
going
we
to
don't need them.
talk about anything
And
else.
fraud became rampant.
scandal-wise.
Last year, I told you the watchdogs are back. Since then, we recovered billions of taxpayers' dollars. Now let's triple the anti-fraud strike force going after these criminals, double the statute of limitations on these crimes, and crack down on identity fraud by criminal syndicates stealing billions of dollars from
What
the
is
American
this?
people.
Like, have you heard anybody talk about this being a major issue that we need to address?
That for every dollar we put into
if he's
fighting
talking
fraud,
about scamming, yeah, around here it seems to be a lot of it.
it matters. Look, COVID left its scars.
When I started answering my phone,
2020.
that's my purse. I don't know you. I stopped getting as many scam calls.
We have an obligation to make sure all people are safe. Public safety depends on public trust, as all of us know. But too often that trust is violated. Joining us tonight are the parents of Tyree Nichols. Welcome. Since then, we recovered billions of taxpayers' dollars. Now let's triple the answers tonight are the parents.
Sorry about that. Had 2 streams going.
We had to bury Tyree last week.
Yeah. Because we didn't
As
have
many
this
of you
race
personally
narrative shoved
know,
down our throats hard
there's
enough.
no words to describe the heartache or grief of losing a child. But imagine if you lost that child at the hands of the law. Imagine having to worry whether your son or daughter came home from walking down the street, playing in the park, or just driving a car. Most of us in here have never had to have the talk that brown and black parents have had to have with their
Oh,
children.
here we go with the race
Bo,
crap.
Hunter, Ashley, my
They're
children.
desperate to make this
I
thing
never
a
had to have
race
the
issue
talk with them.
again. It's the only thing they have.
I never had to tell them if a police officer pulls you over, turn your interior lights on right away.
Oh, I'm white and I'm privileged because I've never had to tell my kids this.
Don't reach for your license. Keep your hands on the steering wheel.
Jesus Christ.
Imagine having to worry like that every single time
So cringy.
your kid got in the car. Here's what Tyree's mother shared with
I
me.
do have to worry about that every single time my kid
when
gets
I
in
asked
the
her
car.
how she finds the courage
Yeah,
to
My
carry
kid
on.
don't drive around in an Audi or a BMW.
Praise to God, she said her son was, quote, a beautiful soul, and something good will come of this. Imagine how much courage and character that takes. It's up to us.
Yeah, How
All
would
of
you
us.
feel sitting there
We
and
all
just,
want the same
I
thing.
don't know, do these people understand they're
Neighborhoods free of
being
violence.
used as political pawns?
Law enforcement,
Like,
no, they usually don't.
These people don't give a shit about them. They're just sitting there being
Just
used
as
as
every
political
cop on the
pawns
pin on
because they
that
got
badge in the
to push
morning
a
has a
narrative.
right to be able to go home at night. So does everybody else out there.
I'm going to tell you the sad
Our
story.
children
I'm going to use my best
have a
gangster
right to
voice.
come home
And
safely.
it's going to sound really sad.
Equal protection under the law is a covenant we have with each other in America. We know police officers put their lives on the line every single night and day. And we know we ask them in many cases to do too much to be counselors, social workers, psychologists, responding to drug overdoses, mental health crises, and so much more. In one sense, we ask much too much of them. I know most cops and their families are good, decent, honorable people, the vast majority. But they risk
You know, I wonder how many Polish people thought that of their police force
time they put that shield on.
right before World War II.
In Memphis happens
right.
too often. We have to do better. Give law enforcement the real training they need. Hold them to higher standards. Help them succeed in
Right,
keeping
because the pressure of the job isn't enough. Let's add more pressure.
professionals to address the growing mental health, substance abuse challenges. More resources to reduce violent crime and gun crime. More community intervention programs. More investment in housing, education, and job training.
More government housing. Yeah, that sounds appealing.
Jesus
All
Christ.
this
Biden is good,
to help
man.
prevent violence in the first place.
8 minutes ago,
When police officers
Joe Biden tweeted while giving
police
live
department
speech, if
violate
anyone
the
tries to
public
cut Social
trust,
Security, I will
they
stop
must
them.
be
If
held
anyone tries to cut
accountable.
Medicare, I will stop them.
Multi-talented.
How does he do it? It's definitely him running that account.
With the support
16 minutes, 19
of
minutes,
the families of
25
victims,
minutes. How is he
Civil
live
rights go from
tweeting his
law
own
enforcement.
speech?
I signed an executive order for all federal
Magic.
officers banning chokeholds, restricting no-knock warrants, and other key elements of the George Floyd Act. Let's commit ourselves to make the words of Tyler's mom true.
Notice he said restrict no-knock warrants, not
yeah.
eradicate them.
Exactly. Yeah, we still need it as a
And all
tool,
of
you
us.
know? I just want to
All
make
of
it a
us.
little harder to justify. That's all.
Folks, it's difficult, but it's simple. All of us in this chamber, we need to rise to this moment. We can't turn away. Let's do what we know in our hearts that we need to do. Let's come together to finish the job on police reform. Do something.
Do
Do something.
Do something.
That was the plea of parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them. Do something about gun violence.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Good boy.
Thank God we did.
To me, that's the most asinine fucking argument.
Again,
Thank you,
policing
Lord.
on the local level is not the job or responsibility of the federal government. Why are we
Well,
even speaking about it?
it's how people ain't picked up on how asinine that argument is, because criminals will always get guns. You can ban them all you want. They don't care.
But we know our work is not done.
No, that
Joining
law
us
don't listen
tonight
to.
is Brandon Setty, a 26-year-old hero. Brandon put his college dreams on hold to be at his mom's side. His mom's side when she was dying from cancer. And Brandon now works at the dance studio started by his grandparents. And 2 weeks ago, during the Lunar New Year celebrations, he heard the studio door close. And he saw a man standing there pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. He thought he was going to die, but he thought about the people inside. In that instant, he found the courage to act and wrestled a semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in another dance studio. 11. He saved lives. It's time we do the same. Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now.
That's what he's been leading up to.
Wow.
Even even the little hero's like, I don't know, dude.
That's not what. Oh wait, I think that was the moment he realized he's also being used as a political pawn.
Was law, mass shootings
Look at
went
him so
down.
ashamed.
After letting me fire in the Republican administration, mass shootings tripled. Let's finish the job and ban these assault weapons.
Ooh, they're getting.
And let's
they're
also
getting
come
scared,
together
aren't
on
they?
immigration. Make it a bipartisan issue once again.
The more scared they get, the more they flub it up, the harder they're going to push that
a record number
agenda.
of personnel working to secure the border, arresting 8,000 human smugglers, seizing over 23,000 pounds of fentanyl in just the last several months. We've launched a new border plan last month. Unlawful migration from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela has come down 97% as a consequence of that. Won't be fixed until Congress acts.
Well, we see videos of him lined up in Texas town.
Yeah, right.
At least pass my plan to provide the equipment and officers to secure the border.
Wait, now he wants to secure the border too?
That's what I was just thinking. Now, a little late, ain't it? Look at him. He's like, are you fucking? Sorry, are you kidding me right now?
American jobs, secure the border. This dude's trying to be Trump.
Here in the people's house, it's our duty to protect all the people's rights and freedoms. Congress must restore the right and the.
Wait, what?
Congress must restore the
What was
right
that about?
that was taken away in Roe v. Wade and protect Roe v. Wade.
Bring it back to the points that people have applaud for.
President and I are doing everything to protect access to reproductive health care and safeguard
Reproduction.
patient safety.
Healthcare.
Well, already more than a dozen states are enforcing extreme abortion bans. Make no mistake about it. If Congress passes a national ban, I will veto it. But let's also pass the Bipartisan Equality Act.
Yeah, we need to be able to kill them babies.
LGBTQ Americans, especially transgender young people, can live with safety and dignity. Our strength is not just the example of our power, but the power of our example. Let's remember the world's watching. I spoke in this chamber 1 year ago, just days after Vladimir Putin unleashed his brutal attack against Ukraine. A murderous
I was wondering when that was coming up.
destruction Europe suffered in World War II. Putin's invasion has been a test
Puddin', you?
for the ages, test for America, a test for the world.
Yeah, it was totally me.
Would we stand for the most basic of principles? Would we stand for sovereignty? We stand for the right of people to live free of tyranny? Would we
No,
stand
because
for
you're
the defense of
terrorizing us.
democracy? For such defense matters to us because it keeps peace and prevents open season on would-be aggressors and threatens our prosperity. 1 year later, we know the answer. Yes, we would, and we did. We did. And together,
I just want you to know my brain is very angry at me for listening to this.
we united NATO. We built a global coalition. We stood against Putin's aggression. We stood with the Ukrainian people. Tonight, we're once again joined by Ukrainian's ambassador to the United States. She represents not just her nation, but the courage of her people. Our ambassador is here.
You don't even know her name.
Country.
Spit it out.
Stand so we can
What's her
all
name?
take a look at you.
What's her name? Did he even say her name?
I don't think so.
He totally forgot his name. Wait a minute. Come on,
You
look at
right there.
Because we're going to stand with you as long as it takes.
How much more money do you need to put in your pocket?
Our nation is working for more freedom, more dignity, more peace, not just in Europe, but everywhere. Before I came to office, the story
Totally
was
felt that.
about how the People's Republic of China was increasing its power and America was failing in the world. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, we just let their satellite go across our whole country.
Which have been many, with President Xi, that we seek competition, not conflict. But I will make no apologies that we're investing to make America stronger. Investing in American innovation and industries that will define the future that China intends to be dominating. Investing in our alliances and working with our allies to protect advanced technologies so they will not be used against us. Modernizing our military to safeguard stability and deter aggression. Today, we're in the strongest position in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world. Anyone else in the world.
We're the military.
Yeah, every one of them's like, what? Look at this dude down here.
I'm
You don't see
committed to
my
work
mouse.
with China where we can advance American interests and benefit the world. But make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country, and we did.
By shooting the balloon down after it had a chance to float across the entire continental
Let's be
U.S.
clear. Winning the competition should unite all of us.
What?
We face serious challenges across the world. But in the past 2 years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracy has grown weaker, not stronger. Name me a world leader who changed places with Xi Jinping. Name me one. Name me one.
What's that got to do with
America's
anything?
rallying the world to meet those challenges, from climate to global health, to food insecurity, to terrorism, to territorial aggression. Allies are stepping up, spending more, and doing more. Look, the bridges we're forming between partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic, and those who bet against America are learning how wrong they are. It's never, ever been a good bet to bet against America. Never.
And I really feel like he inspires my confidence that he's got this. He is the leader. His
I'm
anger
not
doesn't
feeling the
feel
same.
chained at all.
When I came to office, most assured that bipartisanship assumed was impossible, but never believed it. That's why a year ago, I offered a unity agenda to the nation as I stood here.
A unity.
We
What?
made real progress together. We passed a law making it easy for doctors to prescribe effective treatments for opioid addiction. We passed the gun safety law, making historic investments in mental health. We launched the ARPA-H drive for breakthrough in the fights against cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes, and so much more. We passed the Heath Robinson PACT Act, named after the late Iraq War veteran whose story about exposure to toxic burn kits I shared here last year.
Oh, crap. We got to stand again. Come on,
I
Puddin.
understand something about those
I
burn
ain't standing with that heifer.
kits. We can do it together. Joining us tonight is a father named Doug from Newton, New Hampshire. He wrote Jill, my wife, a letter, and me as well, about his courageous daughter, Courtney. A contagious laugh, his sister's best friend, her sister's best friend. He shared a story all too familiar to millions of Americans and many of you in the audience. Courtney discovered pills in high school. It spiraled into addiction and eventually death from a fentanyl overdose. She was just 20 years old. Describing the last 8 years without her, Doug said, "There's no worse pain." Yet their family has turned pain to purpose, working to end the stigma and change laws. He told us he wants to start a journey toward American
Yeah,
recovery.
that's sad, man.
Doug, we're with you. Fentanyl is killing more than 70,000 Americans a year.
And where's it all coming from?
Ah, the border. Good
You
for
got
them.
It's your fault.
Amen.
McCarthy keeps like the father face. Shh. Okay. kids.
So let's
All right, kids.
launch a major surge to stop fentanyl production and the sale and trafficking with more drug detection machines, inspection cargo, stop pills and
Oh,
powder
Jesus Christ.
at the border.
How is that going to help?
Working with couriers like FedEx.
Rather than cut it off at the
Despicable
source.
packages For drugs. Strong penalties to crack down on fentanyl trafficking. Second, let's do more on mental health, especially for our children. when millions of young people are struggling with bullying, violence, trauma, we give them greater access to mental health care at their schools. We must finally hold
Well,
social
we're an hour
media
in.
companies accountable
starting
for
to flub way
experimenting
more.
or doing running children for profit. It's time to pass bipartisan legislation to stop big tech from collecting personal data on our kids and teenagers online. Ban targeted advertising to children and impose stricter limits on the personal data that companies collect on all of us.
How is
Third,
any of that going to
Does that
help
include the government?
fentanyl overdosing?
Truly sacred obligation to equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home. Job training, job placement for
How
veterans.
does any of this
and their
help the
spouses
fentanyl
as they
problem?
come to return to civilian life.
He started this segment
Companies
like we
veterans
have a fentanyl
afford the
problem. Here's
rent
the deal, and
because
now we're
no one
talking
should be
about
homeless
He
stuff
in
that
America.
has
started this
nothing to
segment
do
while
with
he
it.
was still in the segment about China.
Dennis McDonough is here, of the VA. We had a first real discussion when I asked him to take the job. I'm glad he did. We were losing up to 25 veterans a day on suicide. Now we're losing 17 a day to the silent scourge of suicide. 17 veterans a day are committing suicide. More than all the people being killed in the wars. Folks,
What?
VA is doing everything it can, including expanding mental health screening, proven programs that recruits veterans to help other veterans understand what they're going through, get them the help they need. We got to do more. And fourth, last year, Jill and I reignited the cancer moonshot that I was able
He
to start.
hasn't
when
addressed
President
a
Obama
single
asked me to
subject
lead
he's
the
talked about this
administration.
entire time.
Our goal is to cut the cancer death rates at least by 50% in the next 25 years.
How are we going to do that? How are we going to do that?
Turn more cancers from death sentences to treatable diseases.
All right, how are
Now
we
we're
going to do
back
that?
to cancer.
More support for patients and their families. It's
We're talking about
personal.
mental health. Went to cancer.
Many of us in this audience.
All right, now give me the how. Yes,
Joining us
we all agree it's a
are
problem.
Morris and Candice, an Irishman and the daughter of immigrants from Panama. They met and fell in love in New York City and got married in the same chapel Jill and I got married in New York City. Kindred spirits. He wrote us a letter about his little daughter, Ava. And I saw her just before I
Here
came
comes
over.
the next heartwarming story.
She was just a year old when she was diagnosed with rare kidney disease, cancer. After 26 blood transfusions, 11 rounds of
I mean, this is
radiation,
the same general
8
structure that
rounds of
Trump's
chemo,
State of the Union took as well.
one
though.
kidney removed, given a 5% survival rate.
It's all politicians.
Wrote
Here's
down
another
the doctor's
political
notes
pawn
and
for us
thought,
to
if
put
she
in front of you
goes,
and
I can't stay.
get your emotions on high.
Many of you have been through that as well.
So
Jill, I
manipulative,
understand that,
all of
like
it.
so many of you. He read Jill's book describing our family's cancer journey and how we tried to steal moments of joy where we could with Bo. For them, that glimmer of joy was the half smile of their baby girl. It meant everything to them. They never gave up hope. Little Ava never gave up hope. She turns 4 next month. They just found out Ava's beating the odds, is on her way to being cured of cancer. And she's watching from the White House tonight if she's not asleep already. For the lives we can save. For the lives we can save and the lives we've lost, let this be a truly American moment that rallies the country and the world together and proves that we can still do big things. 20 years ago, under the leadership of President Bush and countless advocates and champions, he undertook a bipartisan effort through PEPFAR to transform the global fight against HIV/AIDS. It's been a huge success. He thought big. He thought large. He moved. I believe we can do the same thing with cancer.
So he really needs something to be a moonshot, doesn't he?
Let's end cancer as we know it. Cure some cancers once and for all.
Can we?
Folks,
Can we?
there's one reason why we've been able to do all of these things. our democracy itself.
By stealing money from you, the
It's the
taxpayers.
most-
That's what I was just thinking.
Everything's possible.
By taking
Without
all
it,
your money
nothing.
and leaving you with scraps.
The last few years, our democracy has been threatened and attacked, put at risk, put to the test in this very room on January the 6th. And then just a few months ago,
Oh, here we
An
go.
unhinged-
January 6th.
big lie, assailant
knew that was
unleashed
coming.
political
You knew you could leave it
violence,
out.
home of the then Speaker of
Groan.
the House of Representatives, using the very same language the insurrectionists used as they stalked these halls and chanted on January 6th.
I agree,
Sitting in this
Charlene.
chamber is a man who bears the scars of that brutal attack.
Miss Pelosi barely
But
hanging
is
in there.
as tough and as strong, as resilient as they get. My friend Paul Pelosi. Paul, stand up.
That's my husband over there. Tried to have him murdered, but it failed. He called the police. The drunk
What?
bastard.
Oh, because, okay, she's still part of
Let's all
Congress,
speak
ain't
out.
she?
There's no place for political violence in America.
Few
We have
more
to
days
protect
anyway,
the
I
right
think.
to vote, not suppress the fundamental right. Honor the results of our elections, not subvert the will of the people. We have to uphold the rule of law and restore trust in our institutions of democracy. We must give hate and extremism in any form no safe harbor.
Then you need to get out of your gut. You need to get out.
Yeah, we got to stand up for that.
Democracy
Standing up
must
again.
not be a partisan issue. It's an American
That's why
issue.
we only have two parties.
Every generation of Americans has faced a moment where they have been called to protect our democracy, defend it, stand up for it. And this is our moment. My fellow Americans, we meet tonight at an inflection point, one of those moments that only a few generations ever face, where the direction we now take is going to decide the course of this nation for decades to come. We're not bystanders of history.
A true
We're not
statement.
powerless before the forces that confront us. It's within our power of we, the people. We're facing the test of our time. We have to be the nation we've always been at our best. Optimistic, hopeful, forward-looking. A nation that embraces light over dark, hope over fear, unity over division, stability over chaos. We have
Couldn't
to
say union.
but as fellow Americans. We're good people. The only nation in the world built on an idea. The only one.
Right, that we stole from the people who, lived here before us.
Other nations,
Nation of contradictions and hypocrisies.
every ethnicity. But we're the only nation based on an idea that all of us, every one of us, is created equal in the image of God.
That's why we came over with
The nation
slaves.
stands as a beacon to the world.
Because we're all created equal.
Nation in a new age of possibilities. So I've come to fulfill my constitutional
Oh, we
obligation.
had to stop to think about that
Report in
one.
the State of the Union. And here's my report. Because the soul of this nation is strong, because the backbone of this nation is strong, because
Come on,
the
man.
people of this nation are
Spit
strong,
it out.
the State of the Union is strong.
This is your climax. This is your climax. You're supposed to get this line out. Everything you've said up to this point is supposed to build to this moment. Don't mess it up, Mr. Biden. Don't. Oh, he messed it up. Oh, he messed it up.
I'm not new to this place. I
No
stand
shit.
here tonight, having served as long as
40
about any
plus
one of
years.
you have ever served here.
Yeah. Establishment as it gets.
But I've never been more optimistic about our future, about the future of America. We just have to remember who we are. We're the United States of America, and there's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
Wow, he actually did get the last line out. Way to go, dude. I can stand for that.
No.
Such a big boy. Such a big boy. You did good, buddy. You did
Yeah,
good.
look, thank you for being my cheerleader, Kamala.
Just waiting
Can
for
you
him
do
to pass
another
out right
lunch
at the
for
end of
me?
it.
What? Is he taking? Nope, he still don't know where to go.
Which way do I
Not
go?
taking the right exit. Look at her trying to get out of the way.
Mr. President, great speech, sir.
You know, I don't know about you, but when I see a leader in action, nothing inspires confidence more than seeing right at the very end him go, "Oh, which way do I go now? I don't know which direction.
Go, George? Which way did he go?
Which direction should I be walking?"
Where's my sign?
Well, I was supposed to have another gentleman in here. Mr. Williams was going to join us tonight, but he could not get his internet working.
Seems to be an issue.
Charlotte says, "Why are all the darker people in front?"
You know why.
Oh, come on.
Ask that question.
That's got to be the most rhetorical question I've seen all night, honestly.
She sure was, wasn't she? That's what I was saying most of the night. If you ever paid attention to the audience, over half that audience was like, "Why am I here?"
Yeah. Even all the guys from the military were sitting there like, man, I don't know. Pelosi looked kind of bored. Everybody looked kind of like zoning out, like trying to stifle yawns. I don't know. I feel like if you're going to stand up before the entire nation, and honestly before the entire world, because let's be real, everybody's watching this. You know, who cares? I mean, you want that speech to be super inspiring. You want it to be something that you feel like, okay, we're good. We're good moving forward. And I don't know if things were really bad, would they ever get up there and tell us?
No.
You know? Because that's ideally what the State of the Union is supposed to be, isn't it? It's supposed to be something where people are like, hey.
Yeah, but if you go back in history, in any moment of history, the answer is no. No, the higher ups do not tell the public how bad things really are.
Yeah, everything's fine. Don't worry. We're good. Everything's perfect. We're stronger now than ever.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not we're not stupid. People aren't stupid. We know when things are not going right. So for him to sit there, it would be super refreshing to have somebody get up there and say, "Yeah, look, things are not going as like we planned them. Things are not going the way we thought they would. And here's what we're going to do to fix it. Here's our plan moving forward. Don't worry. We're going to do our best to try to, come out of this. But I'm just being honest with you. That would be so refreshing, but that'll never happen.
Well, mainly because people don't like the truth. I mean, seriously, people don't like the truth. Period. People don't like hearing that sometimes some drug addicts are drug addicts because they're running away from emotional pain. And sometimes they're drug addicts because, they picked the wrong one first.
Yeah.
Some people are drug addicts because they are weak-willed.
I am going to correct you on one thing. You said you said people don't like to hear the truth, and I would just add people don't like to hear the truth that disagrees with what they already believe.
I don't know. No, I think it's just the truth in general, because I hear a lot of things that don't necessarily agree with my particular beliefs. Well, I can't even say that either, because my beliefs are ever changing. I try to leave myself open for new information at the very least,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you ask any individual, they're going to be like, "Yeah, of course I want to know the truth. I don't want to be lied to." Nobody.
Until you tell them the truth.
Yeah, nobody's going to say, "Man, I love being lied to. I absolutely love it."
Yeah, until you tell them the truth. So, somebody tells you a story, and in the story, they're the ones in the wrong. They're the ones being the jerk, however you want to put it. Okay. You tell them that, and they no longer like the truth. Oh no, I'm not like that. No, you just told me from your own mouth you were like that. Seriously.
Yeah, right.
That's what I mean by they don't like the truth. Some truths are hard and they just suck, but they're the truth.
Did you happen to see my latest Pfizer, my Moderna video by chance?
Moderna? No, I haven't seen the Moderna video yet. I haven't been online today. I've been playing in the garden, giving my life essence to it.
Oh, that's nice.
And then after the garden, I was reading this book.
Here we go. Here you go.
Right? Right now?
You recognize that song I'm whistling there?
You notice that they've been real quiet too. Like you ain't seen sponsored by Moderna and Moderna commercials.
I've heard nothing from him. Did you recognize that song I was whistling in the background there?
No, I wasn't paying attention to the whistle. Sorry.
Yeah, that song. It wasn't me. Da, 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 me got me red-handed. Grief by the Christ.
Nice. No, I didn't recognize the song.
It was chosen on purpose. It's chosen on purpose. So I'm working on one.
good.
I'm working on one right now. Where's my buttons?
I don't know. What did you do with your buttons? I have no buttons.
So I just came up with one today where I still try to figure out how it's going to go, but something like okay, I need you to prepare for the next year and to not change your mind on anything. And then he starts like equipping this dude with all these tools and stuff. And one of those tools is something like, oh, it's the deep state. Oh, it's a false flag. Oh, it's this. So anytime they're confronted with things that disagree with their preconceived notion, you just have this like bomb called false flag. I don't know. It's still working in my head, but I picture it like that scene where James Bond walks in and starts getting equipped with all these fancy high-tech weapons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We
We watch football, right? We watch college football. We get our entertainment out of it. Well, you know how any sports people that watch sports, they think they're the referees too. You know, you watch the game long enough, you think you're an expert, just like the experts, et cetera, so forth. You forget you're not on the field in the middle of it, looking yada yada yada, right?
Oh,
So of course you always have complaints. We made our own yellow flags. That's for BS calls.
Okay.
That's for what was that call?
Are those for when you're out at the actual
They're yellow
game?
flags. You know how football they throw a flag on the play?
No.
Okay, well in football they throw a flag on the play. These are our flags on their plays.
Why didn't we have those for this speech?
You know, I should have, because this would have been perfect.
Why were you not using those?
Because you just now reminded me that I had them at all.
Hold up that last one again. So this says grievance. Nice. All right. Well, I am going to log off for the night. I would say that was
Thank you for breaking my brain and totally turning it to mush. And it's going to take me 3 books in an entire week to bring back to normal.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you subject yourself to these things for me sometimes.
It makes me glad that, you know, I have an herb book and a poison book. So, you know, I'll be good.
All right. And stay tuned. I marked a few little spots throughout the speech I marked a few spots throughout the speech where he flubbed it up and whatnot. I'm just going to probably make a short video out of that.
There ain't much to make. I mean, he didn't say nothing of substance.
I was hoping he said minions one more time. That'd have been great.
Yeah, I don't appreciate being confused with Putin either.
Yeah, I got minions of Americans and minions of families. I think I just needed one more for it to be a nice solid 3.
Puddin instead of Putin.
All right. I'll see y'all later. Y'all been watching. I'm gonna take you out of the chat here, Puddin. Thanks for joining.
Later.
All right. So you all have been watching the Unframe of Mind show, where we have uncomfortable conversations without a condom. I'm your host, Daniel Wagner. And until next time, stay tuned. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, check out all them shorts I've been playing lately. I've been doing little YouTube shorts every day at 11 a.m. Publishing those. A lot of fun stuff, little short skits and funny little pieces and whatnot for your viewing entertainment. All right. I'm logging off. I'm searching.